Well, let's go through some of the shows that they have announced as part of this deal. It's a pay-per-show deal, so they're obviously paying for these shows. You know, Sussexes spend a lot of money on security. They've got an expensive lifestyle out there, so they've got money from Netflix for these shows that they're apparently going to go ahead. The holiday special, With Love, Meghan. It will come out in December.
Yeah,
it's going to clash with the Princess of Wales's filming of a Christmas Carol concert. I mean, are we excited about a holiday special of Meghan in America?
I think, look, I think interest in this will be very much related to how season 2 goes. We know that everyone was talking about season 1, loving it or hating it. A lot of people hate watching it. The critics were absolutely brutal about season 1.
Torture, wasn't it? Like,
it was. Look, there were. It was a bit of a slog getting through it. I'll definitely say that. Season 2 doesn't have that sort of intrigue of, you know, what's it going to be. So we need to see how that looks at the other side. If by some, you know, big turnaround, people are obsessed with it, I think that will impact how many people watch the holiday special. But I don't see that that's going to have any sort of bearing on the Princess of Wales's Christmas concert, because that is obviously wildly popular and people watch it every single year.
But it's going to the holiday special is going to turn up what we've seen, you know, to 11 is I suppose the phrase on the volume. I fear it's going to be so over the top. It's going to be Thanksgiving is around that time as well. Would that be around the same time? Thanksgiving and Christmas. They call it a holiday special.
Yeah, I can see Meghan kind of redoing herself as in like the celebrity you love to hate, and not in the sense that she hasn't received a lot of negative press, but I think she's going to lean into that kind of very vacuous, almost irritating, like so plastic character, but in a way that's like it's still getting your attention. Like you still want to watch because you can't believe like there's like nothing in my head. And I actually really, I think that's clever. That's what Paris Hilton did. So like, you know, back in the mid-2000s when she's like, that's hot, and like this ditzy blonde character, but it was marketing genius because she knew exactly what she was doing. And I'm kind of rooting for her. I'm like, lean into the vacuousness. You have that going for you.
The thing that will be...
Not in a rude way.
The thing that will be interesting is that season 2 was already filmed when season 1 came out. So when all these brutal reviews happened, you know, she couldn't really... You presume she couldn't do a lot to change what season 2 was going to look like. But if the holiday special was still to be filmed, I wonder if she'll change it up at all for that to reflect.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah. It could be. We could see a different Meghan. Who knows?
She might have be dancing with like someone dressed as a Christmas
She'll have the opportunity to, I suppose, reflect a little bit about what people were saying about that first season.
Yet another different Meghan.
I was going to say that. Yet another. We may see another rebrand.
No, the other one, Esther, you touched on it a minute ago. It's called Masaka Kids: A Rhythm Within. It's in Uganda, I think. It's a short film, so we don't know how long or what the ins and outs are. We know Harry's been in Africa recently.
Yeah.
Something seismic is happening behind palace walls. Meghan Markle steps forward not as a victim this time, but as a power player, pulling strings in plain sight. This isn't coincidence. This is strategy. And it's sending a clear message to the royals: she's not done yet. Listen closely. Meghan's words drip with calculated undertones, emotional manipulation disguised as vulnerability. She's rewriting her own narrative while throwing subtle daggers at the palace. Every phrase is loaded. Every look rehearsed. Royal insiders are sounding alarms. Behind the scenes, Meghan's actions are being described as a deliberate provocation. Leaks suggest tensions are boiling. This isn't diplomacy, this is a quiet declaration of war. The public isn't buying it anymore. Across social media, hashtags are trending, headlines are brutal. Critics call her manipulative, supporters label her fearless. One thing's clear: Meghan's playing the most controversial hand of her royal life, and the world is watching. In the final moments, Meghan doesn't blink. She knows exactly what she's doing. This isn't a retreat, it's an escalation. The palace may keep silent, but make no mistake, this is Meghan's power game, and she's all in.
We don't know if Harry and Meghan are going to feature in this one. I have asked, and we were told you'll have to wait and see. I don't like surprises. I'd like to know if Harry or Meghan are in it. Does this sound like something that's going to earn them a lot of money?
Oh no, but I don't think they're trying to earn money. I really think they have this messianic complex where they think like, putting out this content, even if it doesn't necessarily generate the kind of views, it's in the repertoire of the do-gooders. I just think having grown up in Ghana and having seen like kind of these UNICEF ads of like, starving, emaciated African children with like flies around their faces, or the camera zooming in being like, give to us and stuff like that. And knowing kind of the background that Harry comes from, I really hope this isn't that. Like, I don't mind if it's not entertaining or anything like that, but I don't want it to veer into like the outdated and outright disrespectful.
It can look into kind of white savior complex.
Yeah, exactly. And then not in a way that, I'm disparaging their will to try and do good, but I think they have to be very conscious of that. And I think with the reason why I'm saying this is because I think the Sentebale charity and his approach to it is quite telling. He didn't go to sub-Saharan Africa for 5 years until he was invited by Sophie Chandoka, who he basically had that falling out with. And I think that's quite telling, because if you have this charity and it's your flagship charity and you're saying how much good you're doing, I think it's quite telling when you don't actually even visit the region and you basically let your minions on the ground handle it. And then when things are not going your way, you're so affronted by it. I just think, well, you weren't even doing the real work. Like, were you actually invested in this? And so for me, that's always left a bad taste in my mouth, because we always see it with celebrities that kind of put their names to initiatives and then just kind of have a hands-off approach. And I'm like, you're no longer a prince, mate, in the way that you were. You actually have to do the work.
It's interesting timing, I think, coming soon after Sentebale. We'll get on to the Sentebale latest a little bit later in the show. But the other one is, so I wrote the story 2 years ago that the Sussexes had bought the rights to a book called Meet Me at the Lake. It was very popular 2 summers ago. It was a big deal. It's taken 2 years now until they've actually said, oh yeah, we are in active production. This is going to be, the first time that they've adapted a book into a Netflix series. We need to know who's acting in it, who's starring in it. I can't imagine Meghan and Harry are going to be acting in it. They're going to need to get some big names.
There has been.
Could you imagine Harry?
That would be an interesting career redirection. Maybe that's the next thing. Who knows? There's been. We've lost Esther.
We've lost Esther on the idea of Meghan and Harry acting.
It would just be, honestly.
He's had secret aspirations like Prince Edward, maybe. Maybe that was there. Yeah. Anyway, so look, I think that it's the thing about this story and this book is it was a wildly popular book, and it was quite a big deal when that story broke that they would be producing it. Shockingly little information has been released. So even though they're saying it's in active development, I still find it odd that we don't know more about it at this point. So I'm sort of not really holding my breath for it to be released. But
no, I've waited too long to find out details.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood films get shelved all the time until like the time is right, and so this is not surprising. And maybe Netflix are the one holding it up. Maybe everything is good to go, or maybe we know that Meghan likes to be quite meticulous. This is what I was saying before. I would be really interested to see her kind of directing chops, if this is actually something she's going to be behind the camera for, because it is going to be interesting. She has been not acting for a while now, for quite some time, and you kind of get a bit rusty, and she's been trying all her hands at all these business ventures. So I'd be curious to see what she actually thinks and the audience would want to see now from her, as like sort of with love. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep asking you, with the love Meghan, clearly had time before the camera should be ending soon.
Well, it's been full steam ahead on With Love Meghan. So possibly the reason that we don't know more about it, I suppose, is that maybe because Netflix is obviously in partnership with As Ever as well. This is like a large project, and with season 2 coming and this holiday special, maybe the plan was simply that they're going to throw everything at that and then focus on this fictional work after. Also, as we've talked about, they've had a lot of misses in the sort of non-fiction space. So maybe this will be the area that they're better at. She's got the Suits background. I don't know. Again, it's a big question mark, but we just know absolutely nothing about it.
Just touching on this side of the Atlantic for a while. I was at St James's Palace a couple of weeks ago, and Idris Elba, the superstar, was there, and he's filming a Netflix documentary about the King's Foundation with King Charles. So we will possibly, at some stage next year when it's released, maybe have a clash between a Sussex production on Netflix and something featuring the King on Netflix.
We're going to have a ratings more interesting. War. Didn't Idris Elba DJ at their wedding? At
Harry and Meghan, yes.
And I'm quite surprised he's not featured in the second season of With Love, sorry, I keep saying As Ever, With Love Meghan, because Claire Smith is in it, who I love. And by the way, I highly recommend her restaurant, Core in London. It takes ages to get a booking, but anyway. But so she was in it, and Jay Shetty and his wife, and a few other, like Chrissy Teigen, who again, like they've resurrected her from the graves of Hollywood.
And Tan France from Queer Eyes on there as well.
Exactly. So I'm surprised that Idris, who would have been a really good fit for this, because at the very least he would have been entertaining, wasn't interested or maybe tapped on the shoulder to film the second season with him.
Well, it's funny you mentioned about the wedding. I mean, there are no guests on, I I mean, we've got 8 episodes this second series. I think we had a similar 8 episodes in the first series. You've got
God,
more
did I
than
go through 8
16,
episodes? My
more
God.
than 16 guests. None of them were at Meghan's wedding. If they're all good friends of Meghan, as we are told we see on the screen that they're very close and very friendly, no one from the wedding to Harry, when she got married to Harry, have been invited to appear on her show.
Well,
Are you surprised?
the makeup artist who was her best friend, who did her makeup at her wedding, who was in the first season, she doesn't know where he lives or what he's allergic to, or that he was even there. And then he took some cake home. I mean, it was the funniest interaction of all. She was like, "Really? You were there?" Like it was selective amnesia. So I feel like she didn't really connect with the people that she invited. So what's the point in bringing them onto the show? Could it be a hit or miss?